my name is Jehan Wickramasuriya, Senior Vice President at Motorola. I run our video security and access control business, Software Solutions, as well as our enterprise resilience software, cybersecurity, license plate recognition, and I also run AI R&D for the company. For the longest time, status quo around security has largely been around perimeter protection. We really think that we are disrupting that whole notion by using AI more for not just detection, but specifically to enable faster response. We believe most users should be spending their time in response rather than typically they spend 50 to 60% of their time in triage. In other words, figuring out what an alarm actually is and what to do about it. So we're really applying AI not just for detection, but also to enable systems to be able to reason and also take the appropriate actions with the guidance of human intervention to do more of that incident workflow than just look at alarms and visualize them. Yeah, so today if I think about a lot of the gains that we're getting from AI, we really think about it as there's two categories of products. There's AI-enabled products, which are largely bolted on to existing products, or AI-native products, where the entire workflow is reimagined because of AI. So if you think about that from a security perspective, a lot of our new applications are vastly simplified, far fewer numbers of steps needed to be able to take an action, because when you have AI orchestrating and setting up the problem for the user, you don't need as many steps. So we see simplification happening. And then also we see as models tend to increase in capabilities, we see more and more of the incident lifecycle. We call it the lifecycle from when a detection event comes in to a first responder is on scene. We think that AI is very, very good at being able to, number one, eliminate the false positives. Roughly 90% of the false positive alarms that operators see today could be eliminated with AI. And we know that roughly after about 20 minutes, most humans miss 80% of the critical details in a security incident. So AI is basically able to tee up more of that for the human and figure out which user and what action needs to be taken, and then essentially all that the human users need to do is be able to verify that information. Is that correct or not? Versus trying to figure out each and every time what to do. Yeah, so across both these areas, what we've done up to this point is we've added AI deeply into the workflow. So we're seeing things like, for example, in public safety, emergency call handling, we are seeing reduced response times, the ability for AI to handle things like non-emergency calls, which again leaves more of the time for operators to be able to take emergency calls. On the enterprise security side, same thing. Instead of just focusing on detection, what we're doing, and we're showcasing this at the show today, this year, is we're bringing things like generative AI to the edge. In other words, instead of having humans define the rules ahead of time, what things should I need to pay attention to, now they can just describe and ask the system what they want. And that actually enables them to have better coverage across their security system. And it also helps them save time, because usually a lot of the things that they set up when they buy the system are not valid when incidents happen. So we're moving from that very static, front-loaded setup type environment to you essentially tune the system learns as it goes on and gets better. And things like visual alerts really help our users do that, because they can essentially talk to the system like they would another human. Yeah, we've always taken a distributed computing approach to our architectures. They're hybrid in nature, so we have cloud-based products and we have on-prem products. When it comes to AI, all of our cameras, roughly 90% plus of our cameras, have AI running at the edge on them. We continue to use that. There are efficiencies from running AI at the edge. Privacy, latency, security, zero trust, these are all valuable aspects of running AI at the edge. However, in cases where we have the appropriate cloud environments in the right sovereign regions, we can now utilize the cloud to either enrich that information that is being generated at the edge, and also to be able to orchestrate response. So we don't think that it's an either or. We've applied AI throughout our history at the edge, cameras, servers, and now increasingly in the cloud taking advantage of advanced capabilities. And where it makes sense, we bring those advanced capabilities to the edge, like we have with visual alerts and bringing VLMs, large language models, to be able to run in a secure on-prem infrastructure. Yeah, so I think there's two categories. One is understanding the AI itself. Earlier last year, we were the first in the industry to do what we call AI nutrition labels. So all of our products, there's a label, much like when you go to the grocery store and you see a label that tells you how many calories and what's in the food. Our products now have a label that essentially tells you how AI is being used, what data was used to train it, and what are the basic capabilities. So we think that's number one. We make it very easy for our customers and anyone else to be able to understand how we're using AI in the product. Number two, within the systems themselves, as these systems get more distributed, zero trust is very important. So at each step, say you're doing a computation on the edge, that being secure, that being on premises, but when we're integrating with other platforms, cloud-based systems and others, that same type of security needs to percolate end to end. So I think the way we look at it is very much a grounds-up approach around distributed systems. Make sure that each step is secure in rest as well as in transit, and enable those more powerful outcomes for our customers. We're really focused on building AI systems, not AI point solutions. It's a really good question. So at the show here today, we're showing obviously our physical security suite, everything from our cameras, our long-range cameras that can detect up to 30 kilometers, as well as our camera portfolio and AI portfolio. But we also have our resilience solutions at the show. So what are resilience solutions? So if you think about an organization, physical security and security is just one part. There's a whole IT part of the organization that isn't necessarily just served by security. Things like incident management, business continuity, risk management. So Motorola Solutions has a suite of software that actually helps companies and our customers achieve those kind of outcomes. And what we're doing is we're connecting the two together. We find that largely the same organization, there'll be a different set of individuals who worry about resilience and risk management, and then another set that worry just about security. We find that connecting that loop provides a lot of value because, as I said before, most security systems are set up by the security teams when they buy hardware or when they set it up. It doesn't continuously improve. If there is more risk understood in the larger business, how does that feed back into the security side? So we feel these two categories of solutions, risk management, physical security, are deeply converged, just like cyber and physical are converging today in the industry.